back. And you know what? We're going to do some teacher appreciation today. And we brought back our good friend, David Dorf. David, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Love that scrubby look. Very good, David. Handsome man. I don't know, some people just look better with age, and then that's you, Dave. Hey, Dave, Ruben and I have been talking about some of our teachers in the past that, we appreciate and have really had an impact on our classroom. Can you think of a teacher, Dave, when you were in school, either elementary, middle, or high school, or in college, that had an impact on you, and tell us who that was, and then tell us what, why, what impact, maybe you brought that into your classroom, the things that you learned.
Yeah, when you guys were talking about that earlier, when you sent me that email, I was kind of thinking about like an elementary school teacher, Mr. Brown, in high school, Coach Brown. Then I started thinking about what I've actually brought into the classroom, and there was two professors at Cal State Fullerton. It's like 30-some years ago. I wish I would remember their names, but I do implement some of the things that they did in their class. So, for example, I think one of my favorite classes was a geography class. And he would lecture, and after each lecture, he had those old school slides and stuff that they would project. They had like a picture in each slide, and he would project. And so he would talk about a certain area or a certain region in geography around the world, and he would have pictures from that area. So I'm like, that's really great, because it really enforces some of the ideas and concepts he was talking about. And what I do now in my classroom is I never ever lecture for the whole period. I know some teachers do, I don't. I chunk it up. I do one main idea, and it might take 10, 15 minutes, but I always follow it up with a short little YouTube video, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes at the most, because I know their attention span is pretty short, and they say about 4 minutes at the most. So I will look on YouTube, and there's so many videos on Rome and Carthage. That's what we're going over right now in 7th grade. And so I used that in my classroom. But then also I had a professor of humanities at Cal State Fullerton. And it was like a reflection class. It was a group. We did group activities, and then we broke off and did small little groups. But every classroom, like partway through, we always did like a reflection, and we would stop and we would pause. So I'm like, man, I always remember that. And so now in my classroom, every period with every class, we take a brain break walk. We go outside. They have a little path to go through. They walk around. Now the boys love playing football, and have a little football in class. They'll go out there. We'll throw it around. I'll throw it with them. They'll throw me passes. We go through maybe 4, 5, 6 minutes, and we come back in, and the kids just really enjoy it. But I'm kind of surprised that there's not too many teachers that do that.
It's so smart though, getting them up and physically active and gets them, because you're also with middle school students, correct?
Correct, 7th grade.
I think it would work with high school, but yeah, I mean, so to get them out there, and are you in block schedule?
No, we have about 50-minute periods.
Okay, cool. So just to do that though, just really breaks up the monotony too, but also gets their brain flowing, right? Oh wow, that's a great idea.
And if I forget, they always remind me. Mr. Dorf, are we going for a walk today? Sometimes we do too. Like we have enough time, we'll do one in the beginning, one at the end. And the kids really, the kids are pretty mature for the most part. And I think they really appreciate that little time just to kind of relax, take a little break.
Okay.
I think that that idea of stopping what you're doing and to reflect, and in your case, get up, move around, breathe a little bit. I think a lot of times we forget to do that because we have to get the content out, and we forget that there's human beings in the room who don't learn maybe like we do, or process it as quickly. Sometimes it's good to stop and say, do you have any questions, or do you want to just absorb what you just heard? Because it was a lot of information. And I'm glad what you said. You don't lecture the whole time. Some teachers do.
Yeah, some do, definitely.
I don't get that. Yeah. Wow. Dave, it's funny because you and I have the same background regarding elementary, middle, and high school. I'm not sure if you remember Miss Caston in middle school. I'm not sure if you had her. Did you ever have Miss Caston?
It sounds familiar. I don't think I had her as a teacher.
She was a math teacher. Yeah, she taught algebra, and for for me, for her, she was just, I don't feel like I brought her ideas in the classroom, but I did bring one thing, is the seriousness of education, just like appreciating it. And like respecting your subject, and then you don't have to respect it by doing lectures all period, but you can respect it by just letting the kids know how much you appreciate and how much you love it. And like if you showing the kids some videos or even some slides, you're saying, I love this stuff. I want to show you guys some stuff that I found that's really cool, So I'm really glad that you share that. And I know that the kids must really enjoy that. So,
and I think the kids pick up on that. I think the kids pick up on teachers that really care and are just there to pick up a paycheck. And so I think you have to make that connection in the first couple of weeks with the kids, have that rapport, really, in order for them to like go the extra mile for you. So I think that connection piece is very critical.
Very cool. Hey, Dave, I know you're getting ready for the marathon. It's coming up. Well, I guess we're in a few months. Yes. And so can you just give us a little tidbit on how that's going and if you're still going to be running?
Yeah, so this is my 8th year with SRLA, and my wife, Christy, also this is her 8th year. My daughter, Hannah, is joining us for the first time. So she has run 2 half marathons. Her goal has always been to run a full one. So we've kind of pulled her along with us. So she is joining us. We are in the 2nd month. We had our first race this past 2 weeks ago in September in Los Angeles, called the Homeboy 5K.
Nice.
Which we ran through the city of Los Angeles. We currently have 27 students, and I only have 22 spots, which means I can usually pick up more spots later on. But it's the kids that are running, knowing that they're not racing next week, they're still out there trying to gain a spot, knowing that they may or may not. But I said, if you keep out here, chances are I can pick up spots. So I really appreciate those kids that are still running, not being able to run in the first 2 or 3 races.
Wow. So great for the mental health, right? To get out there and run with you guys. I'm so glad you're doing it. 8 marathons.
Adults. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez, that's great. Hey, Dave. Yeah, I want to thank you for coming on, and we just really appreciate you. And we know that sometimes we forget these teachers, but when when we're talking, I'm thinking, man, why do I do things I do? I know a lot of it I pulled from other teachers, right? I'm a good thief, right? I think any teacher.
We all are.
Right? I mean, and you shared about your college experience and the professors that influenced you. And I'm hoping people out there can, hey, if you remember that, just it's nice just to remember and say, even your mind, thank you. That was so inspiring. But again, thank you for being on, and we'll be back at you guys soon with another Pod and Deliver episode. Bye-bye.